Hey folks, my name is Jürgen, aka Nerd and Proud of It, and Destiny has brought you to my channel today, yes it has, to talk about if it's okay to support Wizards of the Coast by buying sealed product again. And we are probably still surrounded by idiots every time I discuss these kind of subjects. I use this beautiful Hecatomb card, Surrounded by Idiots, another game from Wizards of the Coast that worked really well. I want to talk about if it's okay to buy sealed product again, as many of us are not buying sealed product at the moment, as we simply think there is too much sealed product being released, and as many of us are declining Wizards of the Coast our support. And I also want to talk about what Mark Rosewater had to say about all of this 2 days ago. Very interesting statement he made. Yeah, folks, personally, I haven't bought sealed product in quite a while. This, I believe, is the last box I actually bought. I bought it to play a draft with my friends. We never got around to it. Made in Belgium, fabriqué en Belgique, over here in Europe at Carta Mundi. It is a fun product to draft. It's a fun product to play with. Same as Brothers War and same as most products. This, I believe, this Brothers War bundle box is the newest sealed product I have in my collection. I actually received it as a gift from my brother, which is quite cool, of course. So why am I not buying sealed product at the moment? It's very simple. I don't think the products are bad. I think the R&D at the moment is fantastic. It is a principle thing. I think there are too many products being released. I can't keep up. I know a lot of my friends can't keep up. I know a lot of you, the viewers that leave comments here, tell me they can't keep up. The prices are going up, the product releases are going up, and it's simply too much. And that's why I vote with my wallet, and that's why I don't buy sealed product at the moment. Although this product, of course, is a lot of fun to play with. But I just take my old product I still have and I play with that. And when I buy something, I buy singles and I buy old school singles. So still supporting my LGS where I can without directly supporting Wizards of the Coast at the moment. And of course, this all has been triggered when they announced and finally released the 30th anniversary edition. We were made clear that it's only about profit, it's not about us. And that was the moment when we all started coming together and actually voting with our wallets and trying to make a difference, trying to cause change at Wizards of the Coast. And if that works is something I will address in a minute, and I don't think it is clear if it works or not yet. But let me talk about that once we're getting to the quote of Mark Rosewater about the state of Magic the Gathering. But the general question stays the same. When is it okay to buy sealed product again? Because we all like to love. We all love to play the game. We all like the game. And stuff like this, even if it's not the most favorite set of all times, it's still really fun to play with. So when is it okay to buy the next Dominaria Remastered? When is it okay to support Wizards financially again? Have they learned their lesson? I personally was thinking about, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna buy anything at the moment, and I haven't been for months and months, but I will have a look if they learned their lesson, if they release a PR statement after all the backlash they received from us, after all the voting that is done with our wallets, and hopefully the sales going down. And I hear from LGSs and I hear around the world feedback as well that LGSs have cut their orders. And then I don't know how much is sold on Amazon, because Amazon is very cheap sometimes with the Amazon dumps. So that might make a dent, but still, when they sell it at lower prices there, they probably won't make as much profit. Or maybe they do, because the distribution model is different. Yeah, you never know. Doesn't matter. We hear a lot of people are buying less. And I think that's a fact. So I'm very curious if that actually has an impact on Wizards of the Coast sales. And I think for me personally, like I said, I wanted to have a look at the medio January quarterly sales report of the fourth quarter of 2022. Hasbro is always releasing quarterly sales reports, and of course Wizards of the Coast is included there. And of course it's presented in a very nice way. But I would like to know when in mid-January this is released, and then I definitely gonna follow it, and I'm gonna talk about it. And I think it will be interesting to see if we made a change, or if we caused a change, if we made an impact. Because if they sold more than they sold ever before in the fourth quarter, with all that backlash, with every one of us just trying to let them know that we haven't bought anything because we didn't like the way they do things at the moment, if they still have sold enormously well, then everything we do is for nothing. Then there is a broad Magic the Gathering fan base out there that just buys everything. Then we are not important, and we are the minority, and we should shut the fuck up, because it doesn't matter, because people want something else, and that is okay. If we are the minority, and if actually Wizards of the Coast has sold the best they ever did in the fourth quarter, and I'm not looking at the last 3 years, and I'm not looking at complete of 2022, because it was triggered after the 30th anniversary fiasco. Big disaster. If they at that moment, after we all said no, thank you, it's enough, made fantastic record sales, which doesn't look like it, right? With the stock prices dropping, with them addressing the problem all the time, which they never did. They at least talk about it. They still talk about it like there's nothing going on. And they still talk about it as everything is fantastic and fine and the house is not on fire. But they are talking about it. And that is a big indication there's actually something really going on. So we'll see. So mid-January, at that moment, when the quarterly sales would be reported, I determined for myself, okay, if the quarterly sales were dramatic, I might think about the quarterly sales of the end of 2022, of course, Q4 2022. I, for myself, might buy a sealed product again if they see this as a big sign and they actually try to initiate change. But then, when I thought I might have found some hope for 2023, Mark Rosewater, our big friend Mark Rosewater, one of the senior people at Wizards of the Coast and probably second in command at the Ivory Tower, came out with a statement telling us how awesome everything is in the Magic the Gathering world, telling us that they are not listening to internet chatter and that change is something that is difficult sometimes, but as long as it makes you money, it needs to happen. Read his Tumblr post. It's fantastic. It's here on the screen. I think it's clearly not written by him, because it sounds very corporate and it sounds very PR statement-like. And I think somebody else might have wrote it with the idea in mind that they still need to make sure everybody thinks everything is awesome, and this is just fantastic at the moment how it's going with Magic the Gathering, and that the shareholders are reassured by just telling us players to fuck off and shut up. An interesting statement though is that he says here that they made $1 billion this year, and that the last 3 years have been fantastic. And I believe the last 3 years have been fantastic. And I believe it might be possible they made $1 billion. They probably made $1 billion this year. But for me, the last quarter is important. Q4 2022. That's important. That's when we all started to fight back and telling them it's enough. We can't take it anymore. And he can say at the bottom of his post, yeah, I hear you guys, but that's how it works, and that's healthy for Magic the Gathering. Of course, more product means more revenue, and more revenue means more health for the game. But at a certain point, I'm wondering how long they can keep that up before people are just fed up and shutting down and just walking away. And that's happening at the moment. At least I believe it is happening. Still, he said in 2022, he said this year, and I think the post was in 2022 still, and the answer was like in 2023, but technicalities, who cares? He said in 2022 they made $1 billion. Magic the Gathering made $1 billion. And if that is the case, and if Q4 is significantly adding revenue to this $1 billion by being a fantastic quarter, then we're all wrong. And we will hear that when they announce the quarterly numbers. But then we're all wrong. And then the broad majority of Magic the Gathering players just wants nice product and just wants expensive product and just... I can't believe it is the case. Honestly, it would surprise me a lot. I really want to see those numbers, and they will disclose them for the shareholders. So they will, of course, put a twist on it that it went really well. But if it's really bad, you can read between the lines, and they can't hide bad numbers in the end. Even with financial and accounting tricks, it's not possible to hide really, really bad numbers. They're probably going to focus on the first 3 quarters, which went really well, and then they came with that 30th anniversary shit, and then everything went downhill. And we need to isolate that quarter and have a look at that quarter. And that will be very, very interesting. Very interesting to see. But if it's true, and if we all do our efforts for nothing, and they are still selling products like Brothers War, like the 30th anniversary edition, which we already know didn't happen, like everything that was released in Q4 and everything that's coming up like crazy. If it's like Jumpstart, of course, I believe a lot of people bought Jumpstart 2022 because it's a nice product, and fair enough. If you want to play, buy it. Then I'm the one who's wrong, and I'm the one who's against the way things are currently going, and then that's my problem. And then I need to make a decision how to handle it. But I don't want to keep you from playing the game. I'm not gonna say boycott it. The only thing I said last year you shouldn't buy is the 30th anniversary edition, because I think it's a fundamentally wrong concept, product, fundamentally wrong route to go down. So I said don't buy this. That was the only time I said don't buy this. But for the rest I said, hey, if you enjoy the product, fair enough, buy it. I'm not doing it, but if you enjoy it, you should. So I'm not telling you what to do. It's your life, and everybody's free to do whatever they want to do, and that's fine. If you are enjoying everything that comes out, happy for you. I personally will not be joining in the general flow if we're continuing this way we're actually doing things now, because I think there's too much product. I think reprints are like crazy. Really, it's, yeah, I'm looking for words, as you see, as I'm pretty angry about everything. They are driving value into the ground. We all could just buy a boxed game if we want everything to cost nothing. Then just buy a game with a box and put 1,000 cards in it. Everybody has the same card pool. Let's play. Then we don't need a trading card game. So fair enough. But yeah, if they continue to reprint everything, if they continue to reprint old stuff and even devalue the iconic old cards, if they continue to put out a product every month and secret layers every month, like 3, 4, and it's just not sustainable in my opinion. And if it is sustainable because Q4 was fantastic, and he's not putting a PR twist on it, like telling us, yeah, the last 3 years, yeah, I believe overall the last 3 years, even with a bad Q4, were fantastic, and maybe the first 3 quarters of the year with nice products like Kamigawa and so on that really, really did well. I think that might be a possibility, but honestly, look at 2022. Look at what we had. I mean, we had Double Masters 2022. I think that performed really well too. But we also had products that performed really badly, in my opinion. Look at the Crimson Vow situation, Midnight Hunt situation. Look at New Capenna. I don't think these were the products they are really, really proud of. Long discussion, folks. I know. Heated discussion, in my opinion. Very important discussion. I think it is really, really important to just have a look at it objectively. And if we are wrong, if everything was brilliant in Q4 2022, then so be it. Then we all have to make a decision how to continue. Because nothing's going to change then. If Q4 wasn't as it is supposed to be, or as it was supposed to be, then I still have hope. But with these kind of statements Mark Rosewater has done now, we still need to continue to boycott new product, just to show them like, yeah, no, You may have had the best year, but that's based on the 3 first quarters when you didn't really publicly announce you were just seeing us as big money bags, and you were just not caring about the game at all by releasing stuff like the 30th anniversary edition for $1,000, or by making clear to us that you are going to release a massive amount of products every year from now, that you're going to raise prices, that you're just going to reprint everything because you want to sell the products you release. And that's a natural occurrence then. If they want to sell every product they will release, they need to make sure that the cards in that product are good cards. That means they need to pick the more expensive cards so people want to buy that product. But at a certain point, there's saturation, and you can't keep that up. You have to come with new stuff. You can't just live on reprints, and then all the reprints will be worth nothing, and the new stuff will probably, not come for quite a while, as they are working years in advance, which I don't believe they do. I think the planning kind of is years in advance, but I don't believe that the set for 2026 is already planned in detail. Of course, there's probably a name, there's probably a logo, and there's probably like a theme, but it's not planned to the last card. Unless they changed their ways. I know it wasn't the case, but that's like 10-15 years ago. You maybe plan like 1 or 2 years in advance in detail, and the rest like 4 years in advance is a rough plan. Who cares? I'm rambling, folks. I'm rambling, but it's a subject that's very dear to me in the terms of. I think it's a very important subject. Let's put it like this. I think we all should think about this, and I think probably people will be like, "Yeah, what a boring talk." I don't care. I think it's still important. The couple of people that are listening to this, make sure you keep an eye on what's happening. Make sure you read between the lines. Make sure you have a look what's actually going on and not listen to the PR talk. And then we see if we are going down the right path. And if we are going down the right path and voting with our wallets works, we need to still keep doing that. Because statements like this mean, hey, if they are backing down now, and if they think, hey, it doesn't have any effect at all, then we're just going to keep continuing doing this. And we shouldn't allow Wizards of the Coast to do that. They should listen to their customer base. But if everything is fine and they sell like crazy and the customer base votes for the way things are going now, the broad majority of the customer base, and we are a minority, but a very vocal minority, fair enough, Wizards. Go make your $1 billion. I'm happy that you do, but I won't be able to support this anymore with a good conscience. That's all for today, folks. I'm not mad, but I'm more sad, actually, that it has come to this. I'm really sad that Wizards of the Coast is not acknowledging things are not great. People are not satisfied. The only thing they need to do to turn this ship around is like, hey guys, we're actually hearing what you're saying. And Mark Rosewater is saying that he's hearing us, but he's saying also in the same fucking Tumblr post, he doesn't care. As long as they make money, he doesn't care. And that's literally what it says in that post. So, yeah, if they would just acknowledge, and if they would just apologize for the way they have been treating us, and if they would just say, we're trying to do better, we will be trying to do better, and we will stop being such dickheads and just going after the money for the shareholders and seeing you as big dollar signs and just ruining the game, then I would say, hey, Wizards, I've been with you guys for 30 years. You misstepped a couple of times. We pointed that out. The players pointed that out back then as well. May it be like the Chronicles edition. May it be the reserved list reprints around, when was it? Like 2008, 2010, that they stopped when people were getting angry. Yeah, we get it. You try it, but we slapped you on the fingers, and you stopped it, and you need to stop it now again. and then you need to acknowledge that you do, and you need to let us know that you will try to do better. Then I'm saying okay, but if that's not the case, I'm pretty much done with them, honestly. Still gonna play Magic the Gathering, of course, but I'm just gonna play with the stuff I have. I'm gonna go after old cards. I'm gonna build nice cubes. There's a lot of stuff to do with Magic the Gathering, but I won't buy sealed product anymore. Not at all. I won't give my money directly to Wizards of the Coast anymore. Never. Until that changes. So keep it up, folks. Keep it up. Again. Now I'm done rambling. I sometimes need to get these things off my chest. That's fine. Not a lot happening on screen. Thanks a lot if you stayed so long in the video. Thanks a lot for being a sub. Thanks a lot if you're just a viewer that stopped around. Maybe you can consider becoming a sub. Thanks a lot to my Patreons with your support. It makes it possible for me to make this kind of content. I'm independent. I'm not being supported by anyone. And I'm not a big channel. I'm a very small channel. So it's not a lot that I can do, but I still try my best. So thanks to all of you. I hope you stay healthy, stay frosty as well, and thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next time. Bye, folks.